Thank you, viewers, for hanging out, waiting for us. Evidently, the elder gods have frowned upon one of our PC setups, but we're back. All right, so exploring the real offices. Okay, so first of all, you poke around, very cleverly finds the conductor's area. Excuse me, offices for 4 or 5 people. The conductor's, conductor sign with the arrow pointing. It points through the only door that you have found so far to this older construction. Um, as you go through it or look through it, I'm not telling you what you have to do, but as you look through it, um, the walls here are a lot thicker. They're like a foot and a half of that baked clay brick. Um, very well maintained, or I'm sorry, baked clay and sandstone. Um, and so now you're in the conductor's area. You did roll a 12 on that, which would give you, you can either, boy, my throat. You can either find a good item, a minor item, a clue, a hidden area or threshold, a minor item of my choice, or a physical hazard if present.
Okay. Um, I think I'm looking for some sort of clue as to like what was the original structure here.
Oh, that's a good question. Um, it is a again, you can see this was all set up as office space. The interior renovations um, are newer. So basically, if you took an old building, built a newer building around it, and then updated like the fixtures and stuff, um, you can there's like not false walls exactly, but just stuff so that you don't have to look at the wiring. So it's been set up, overhead lights strung in the hallway. It's been divided into 5 spaces. Um, boy, you don't know. Um, the construction obviously predates the building of the railroad, so this was here before anybody drove some steel south of it. Um, hmm, your hunch is that it was, oh, um, it may have been a church actually. Because again, not a lot of the interior structure is here, but you can see, if there was a wall here and I chopped it off, I'm not going to get all of the, unless I really go berserk, I'm not going to be able to get the part sticking out completely flush with the new construction. So there's like stonework sticking out. Um, yeah, this may have been a church.
Hmm, okay. Based on the observation about the trading post, would I understand like what religion this church was going after?
Well, fortunately or unfortunately, the powers that be of the government were trying to really force Christianity on the natives. So
Okay.
probably, probably some stripe of Christian. Probably not Catholic,
Hmm,
because if this was Catholic church property at some point, they probably would have built that nice little church down the road right here. Um, so you don't know much about the people that were tasked with bringing the word of the Lord to the local native populations, but yeah, it was probably some stripe of Christian.
okay. Interesting. I think hmm,
Anybody else
is
doing any looking around?
You did see you. I did say last session there was an ice house nearby that I saw from up in the tower.
Yes, yes, you did. Anybody doing any poking around in the conductor's area?
Can I see if there's any of that fertilizer left over, or would it have been like all souped into the ground?
Where are you looking?
I mean, I guess around the explosion area. where we suspected that it would be.
Who's got the highest luck?
I do.
Give me a luck roll, please. Oh, okay. All right. So you're about to head out back into the yard. Something catches your eye, Avina. Um, Avina. Um, it's just it's a calendar hanging on the wall.
Calendar?
Yeah, calendar hanging on the wall. The pages haven't been flipped since the explosion, so it's dated several months ago. But you know how businesses give out calendars just to keep you thinking about them. This one's
Mhm.
from Jensen Chemical.
So they could
But it wasn't in the explosion. It was here
It's
so
it's
that
here it's here inside the conductor's office space. Oh, and somebody has taken the time to put up little placards. The big, there's like four smaller offices and a larger one in the back. The big one in the back says William Shumway.
okay.
I think based on that observation, the Shumway had some sort of connection, or at least the rail yard had some sort of connection with Jensen, right?
yeah.
Mhm.
Or they could have just done it on a calendar, but yeah,
Mm.
it's the second time the name has come up.
Then I think we should look into Shumway's office.
Okay. Um, well, it's obvious back here that this was the big office. Um, Fairly tidy, again, since there's no outside windows. Um, uh, hmm, there aren't any floor coverings in the hallway or in any of the offices that you saw through the open doors. This office, there's a lot of rugs, like native weave rugs, um, on the floor here. Three-drawer file cabinet over there, nice desk. This was probably, if you're thinking, this might have been like the old uh living space for a priest. What do you do?
The rug. Do we want to? If there's just a lot of rugs, various, do we want to maybe pull them around?
Okay. The biggest one is about the size of a queen size blanket, so yeah, they're easily movable.
My my thing, real quick here, just to toss out a little bit of maybe some psychological reasoning, very unheard of from Tommy. If his office is tidy, he wasn't planning on dying.
No.
Mm-mm.
Hmm.
A man who knows he's gonna die or thinks he's gonna die, he doesn't really care how he leaves things most of the time.
Can I check the file cabinets for any correspondence?
Yes. Go ahead and give me a poke around roll, please.
Oh God, that's not my good one.
Everybody gets lucky sometimes.
Oh boy.
Ooh, but you don't.
Ooh.
Well, no, you do. You do find some correspondence. Um, and you don't find it on the in the file cabinet. However, there is on the desk blotter. The Jensen colors for blue and white. You notice a page that has a blue and white letterhead, and again, it quickly turns out to be a Jensen chemical. The really interesting thing with it is the small, looks like it's a glass jar, about as tall as it is around. Unfortunately, well, when you look at it, it slides off the desk and shatters at your feet. A puff of brown dust puffs up and covers you to the knees. And everybody in the room is coughing a little bit now.
It's why
I think we
Tommy
found our
wears his
fertilizer.
scarf. That's why Tommy wears the face mask. Um,
Back from the war, I had my trench mask, gas mask. I wear it all the time. So
okay, so interesting.
the letter from Jensen, when the smoke clears, the letter from Jensen is addressed directly to Mr. W. Shumway. Thank you so much for your interest in our product. It's really generic. It's it doesn't look, there aren't a lot of specifics in it. You'd expect a business correspondence to have more substance to it. It does, however, mention some fertilizer that was supposed to be headed to the area. It was actually 3 boxcars worth of bagged fertilizer. That's a lot.
Could I? So is some of this just stuff on the ground that from when I dropped it, like the fertilizer?
Yeah, I mean, there's a little pile of it with the broken glass.
And I would probably have matches from my by having a tea set.
Of course.
So I might actually tell the other. I might see if what happens if I hold a match near it.
Okay, I need everybody to give me a luck roll, please.
Well, Could I tell the other to get out of the room?
Okay, so
Yeah.
light a match and throw it. What are we doing here?
I think yeah. That do we have everything we want out of the room just in case?
I mean, I don't know what else we would really want in the room.
Could you give me like much more time to comb through
Yeah,
everything?
yeah.
That'd be nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, good call. Not now. Got it. All right. Tommy's like, by the way, ma'am, the phrase you're looking for is fire in the hole. Boom. So, Tommy, what are you looking for?
Going through his desk, looking for. Are there signs that he has a wife? So we know he has a wife because the wife is dead. But are there signs that he has a wife? Like
There's a picture, a black and white
Okay.
picture, of a pleasant looking, smiling person. There's a picture of a woman by herself, and and there's also a wedding picture. So
okay.
it's the same woman, and who you're probably assuming is Mr. Shumway, a solidly built. Um, if you met him in high school, you'd go, he's probably a wrestler. Nothing unremarkable about it.
Okay, I think I'm gonna take their marriage picture
Okay.
with me. Hmm. His desk. Does he have any like looking around the room? He has like a calendar,
Right, Jensen Chemical.
right? Does he have any like boards? Anything where he's keeping track of things?
Well, you do notice he's got like no, he wouldn't have that.
This is another random question while you're thinking about that. Does he have a picture of like the Pope, or does he have a cross up on his wall to indicate any sort of like what religion he was following?
None.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah. Let's see. Again, what were you looking for around the room?
Basically any clues as to uh more like personal items, but also what was his role as a conductor? How did he keep himself organized in his own office.
Oh, okay. Well, you do find, um, like in the desk, you do find a ledger
Okay.
of, journal, diary, whatever. Um, some of it written in a language you don't recognize.
Uh-oh. Okay, I'm taking this ledger too. I'm glad we didn't blow up this room.
Okay,
Well, see, I don't know if I wanted to blow it up. I didn't want to like put it on the fertilizer. I think I want to put it near.
gotcha.
Okay.
See if it
Sister,
causes like a reaction, like a growth.
okay. Sister, were you going to be doing any investigation before the experiment here?
Not. I guess not. I don't think I am.
Let me remind you of the phrases of Bugs Bunny, do something even if it's wrong. All right, so you vacate the room. The good madame lights a match, the sulfur stink of a good Lucifer, and you're tossing it in, you're blocking it. What are you doing? Describe.
I think what I'm doing is I am Tommy, do you smoke?
Tommy smokes.
Do you have potentially a like a long like cigarette holder as
Uh,
was common?
I don't think Tommy uses
No,
long cigarette holders. Nah, he's more of a just like, you know.
valid.
I wonder if the sister would. I don't know if she would or not.
Probably not.
Yeah,
Okay.
You'd know the indications are that there are health hazards related to smoking, strangely enough.
who would have thought?
Well, I'm not thinking that she would use it, but like on her travels, she saw someone doing it, and she's like, "The Lord would not appreciate that," and just like have it in her
Oh,
bag.
I will say, Madame, you probably have some of that long stick incense.
I think that's what I'm gonna do. I think just so I have range,
Gotcha.
and I'm gonna light the end with the match
Uh-huh.
and kind of hold it near, but not on the fertilizer.
Gotcha. Gotcha. Okay. Go ahead and give me, and the other two are out of the room, correct?
Yes.
Yep, I'm stepping out.
I mean, I
Beautiful.
could do it. I have really good luck. So, and you have a -1 luck. I could do that.
Yes.
I could
Yes.
help
Yes.
No,
Madame Etoile could
give you a help action.
break a
I have the power of
6
Jesus on my side. Don't worry.
Okay. Whoever wants to introduce the flame, that's going to be the good sister.
Yep.
Okay, give me that luck roll, please. All right.
Run away.
I will draw your attention to the unfortunate phrase fuel air explosive. FAEs are nasty. Yeah, basically the whole room goes up. Boom. Um, but partial success. Okay, your call. You can get injured, but learn something, or you can miraculously escape injury walking out of the smoke, um, basically singed but unharmed. Actually, no. Um, it's going to be a minor injury with no additional benefit, or a more major injury with benefit. Your call.
We have plenty of information.
I'm a doctor. I can heal myself.
Would we all be walking out with major injuries, or just the sister?
Just the sister.
I'll do major injury. Let's get
Okay.
something good.
Okay, so mark 2 harm, please. Well, yeah, there's quite a sizable explosion. A strange amount of explosion for the amount of dust in the air. Um, any of you from the Midwest know every now and again a grain silo will explode because when you got a mostly empty grain silo, all the little particles from the corn or the wheat or whatever floating in a giant space full of air, one spark and the whole thing will go up. So yeah, you're familiar with the potential concepts. Um, so you were thrown out of the room, um, but any shocked eyes looking into the room to see exactly what happened? The desk has been thrown against the wall. And all of the carpeting has been thrown to one side, exposing a large ring set into a trapdoor in the floor. What do you
Oh
do?
shoot!
Uh,
First, I'm gonna help the sister up.
Yeah, I'm gonna dust myself off.
Yeah, you're looking a little burn around the edges.
How do you get lore points? Because if I have a lore point, I can heal myself.
Lore points are when you find something. Lore points can be generated a number of different ways. One of which is finding some major stuff or interacting with the real weird and spookiness.
Have we earned a
Alright.
lore point yet?
Not currently.
Okay.
I think Tommy, you guys got that under control. Tommy's going to the trapdoor.
Okay. The trapdoor is it's of an age of the rest of the structure here. You do notice that those hinges have been well oiled and recently.
Uh,
What do you do?
okay. Is it locked? Does it appear locked?
No, there doesn't appear to be a locking mechanism.
All right. Pulling a shotgun from his shoulder. He's ready to go. He's tossing that thing open. And he's looking down.
Okay. The trapdoor is actually fairly heavy, but you've got the muscle to open it up. You're looking down into um, you're looking down at a modern step ladder that's been put here at some point, and going down into the darkness. Also, there was a fairly hefty one of those new electrical cables, a fairly hefty electrical cable. Somebody has modified the trap door so that you can run power down there and not crimp your cable. Oh, wait a second. Two of you just rolled natural 12s, did you not? Oh no, not natural 12, sorry. You can get a point of lore if you roll a natural 12. So
Oh,
if anybody does that, that's one of the other ways that you can generate it. Um, so, um, yeah, you're looking down into the darkness with an electrical cable and a ladder down. What do you do?
Okay. Tommy, sensing that maybe it's not best if the heavy go in without the healer, he's gonna back up, uh, hold the door open, just check on you two. You two okay?
I'm alive. So
yeah, I'm fine.
Okay. And you're still able to fire a gun?
probably.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. Well, flashlight's probably not a thing.
Flashlight?
Do we have any
Yeah.
sense of like light?
We have a
There's flashlights.
Okay.
So you
sister
probably-
has a lantern, I believe.
I'm sorry, what?
Sister has a lantern, I believe.
I do have that lantern,
Yes, you do.
so
Okay.
I guess we can use that.
Yeah. Yeah, that sounds good. Why don't we? I think we head down this hatchway, and we check out what's going on. If we don't like it, we come back and we cut this electrical cord.
Okay.
Okay.
Let's see. All right, so you climb on down in, and you're in what probably was some sort of root cellar in the past. There is, looking around, the first thing you notice is a heavy like knife switch on the wall connected to a cable.
Does it appear to
Right
be in the
there.
down position?
Yep.
Flip.
Throw the switch, and two rows of lights spark up.
Hey,
There
well,
are what looked like raised flower beds.
Oh.
There's also apparently been some construction because there's uh, there's new shoring, like like a mine. You know how it's structured to hold up. There's some new shoring at one end, and a space has been excavated past that. But there are these raised flower beds. On the right is a bunch of what looks like regular crops, stuff stuff from the region. Um, and it's again, it's not looking too well because it's been grown under cruddy artificial lights, apparently. Um, on the left is similar things growing. Again, local grass, uh, creosote, um, basically agricultural products and local plants, agricultural products and local plants. All of the ones on the left are showing signs of like red, like a red vein going up one side of the plant, a reddish tint to the leaves, um, that sort of thing.
Do there seem to
well,
be two types of fertilizer?
Um, Actually, yes. On the right, there is a burlap bag that's been opened. It's got a like a scoop like you'd use for um scooping, metal scoop like you'd use for ice. Okay. And that's just generic fertilizer. Um, you don't even see a company name on the thing. On the other side, similarly, is an open bag of fertilizer with Jensen Chemical printed on the burlap. Um, and so there's that. Is
is
everybody
it?
else down the ladder?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. Were you going to do a little bit of first aid on yourself there, Miss Sister?
I mean, I was going to, but I can't. I don't have any lore.
Don't you have like your normal
Oh no,
healing
you
ability?
can do you can do straight up first aid. That's one of your skills, isn't it?
Is it? I mean, it probably is. I don't have the doctor. I have the devout stuff, so I probably could.
Oh, I thought you picked the medical as well.
You
Yeah,
can only pick one. Oh wait, no, never mind. I can just do that.
yeah, you got the doctor right there. So that's go ahead and give me a luck roll, please.
What,
All right. Oh, complete success. Now that is a modified 12, correct? You got a +3 on that?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So you actually heal 2 segments. So um oh, it wasn't as bad as it looked, teehee. There were some minor burns, and you think something's going to bruise later, but you've got enough. Uh, you get some good stuff, so you heal up 2.
Okay.
Nicely done. All right, so while you were doing that, the good madame and the good former detective have a chance to look around a little bit. What are you doing?
is there an icebox?
Yes, let's say yes.
All right. Um, I'm gonna go to icebox, see if I can take out or just like carve out like a hunk of ice from it.
Okay. So you open it up. You know what I mean by seedling trays.
Yes.
Okay. So each layer of the icebox has got seedling trays in it. The ones that have, their nice little cards labeled, um, the ones that are just regular plant life, they're all dead. The ones that it's got a little note that says JC on it. The ones with the JC label are almost entirely red, and they seem to be thriving here in the dark. Since apparently nobody has been down here since the explosion, all the ice has melted away,
Mm.
even in the cool surroundings. Um, but so that experiment is going to have to wait for another time. So you're investigating the ice box. Mr. Stone, what are you doing? Up,
It's
lost
basically a
it.
long hallway, right?
Long is maybe an overstatement. If again, basically square building. The basement fills up, you think, fills up the entirety of the space. Also, somebody took the time to put the sandstone brick all the way down to the basement. So this has been here since, again, the original construction. That part of it, again, there's been a hole broken in the wall and new construction in there. If you poke your head in, let's see. Let's see. Tick, tick, tick. Yes, you find some things oh shoot. You find some things that are more than a little bit disturbing. Um, there is what looks like a medical table.
Mm.
Um, and again, it's got a bunch of lights set up on it. Um, so for a better look, um, give me a reason roll, please.
All right.
Okay.
boy.
Ooh.
You see on the slab there, um, you take one shock, um, and the problem isn't that it's a dead body, um, as you've seen a few of those. The problem is that the body has basically been colonized by some kind of fungus, and it's hard to tell where the body stops and the fungus begins. It's quite unsettling, especially since it must have been a trick of the light, but when you looked at it, the reddish fungus pulses once. Must have been a trick of the light.
Mm.
Glowing slightly more red before subsiding.
I think I'm
Anyway,
calling the sister over here.
okay.
I make my way over.
Okay. Yeah. Are you softening this up at all, or are you going to just let the good sister experience?
I'll say there's a weird body over here.
Okay. Cool. So you've been able to mentally prep yourself for seeing something horrid. Okay. Yeah. It's arresting. It's eye-catching. There again, several lights set up on this body. Um, you don't know. Give me a reason roll there, sister. Partial success. The proportions of the body are wrong.
What do you mean?
Okay. You take a baby, right?
Mhm.
Little baby, they're mostly head. All right. If you
Mhm.
look at it, if you could stand one up, big head, little body. Toddlers, same way. If you see a toddler silhouette, it's obviously a small child. Again, larger relative head, body size. When you get to adult human, again, blah, 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 blah. This one, the arms are too long relative, the legs are too long relative. The torso, it doesn't seem to be big enough to hold, a set of lungs, guts, heart, whatever. Um, so your medical brain goes, that's not that's not a human body, because a human that looked like that couldn't
Exist.
survive. Yeah, I
Okay.
mean, you've seen some medical oddities, but most of them didn't survive birth. Um, so at one point you're like, that's not really a human body. That was like somebody carving stuff out of fungus for whatever reason. Nope. Fingernails, eyelashes. That was a person at some point. The features have mutated and grown out with fungus to the point you wouldn't be able to identify this person by face. Um, yeah. So what do you do?
I mean, would this possibly be like 0.0?
You mean like patient zero?
Yeah, in the sense, like, since we did see it glow on this body, we haven't seen it glowing before.
Real quick, Tommy
Mm.
doesn't want to get caught off guard, and this appears to be a well-kept place. Could the madam follow me upstairs? We need to go clean up that explosion room as much as possible. It's gonna look like something happened, but we need to clean it up. We need to.
Mhm.
Wait, is the hatch openable from the inside?
Yeah, you could probably push up on it.
Okay,
Although
we need to.
there is a latch from this side, so you could close it down.
Yeah, I think we need to basically clean up the room as much as possible, then close the hatch and just try and maybe camp out here for a little bit while we continue to investigate.
Okay.
Only problem is you won't be able to cover the trapdoor from the inside.
Okay. That's fine. Maybe they
I mean,
got careless and
wait a second. No, you're all smart. You figure out if somebody holds up the trapdoor and you throw a rug over it, like toss it over, wiggle under there, and drop it, it'd probably fall. So the rugs are fairly well made and heavy. So yeah, you figure that out. If you want to hide that you're down here at all. Okay, so sister, while the other two are wrangling some fiber arts, you notice something else that again with a rotting fungal body right in front of you, it didn't catch your attention at first. There's some sort of symbol carved into the wall of the expanded space out here. It's a lot of heraldry uses like the sun. It's like a smiling sun face with all the radiation. This one's just a flat disc, featureless, and it would be like a sun thing, except all of the sun rays look melted and drooping. Um, and the symbol, I say carved, it's actually a plaque of copper. Um, the circle and the dripping sunburst is fairly well polished. The surrounding copper has gotten green, or was allowed to go green. Um, and yeah, so some sort of symbol hanging on the wall. What do you do?
Have I ever seen that symbol before?
Give me a, let's see. That would be a tick, tick, tick. Would that be under, let's see. Actually, first we're going to help Tinder poke around. Go ahead and give me a puzzle things out, please. That's a roll plus reason. Oh, again, you're rocking and rolling. All right,
I
so
know.
here's the thing. You can ask 3 questions or you can gain 1 lore. I will tell you, if you gain 1 lore, I will you you will know something about this disc um, that you don't have to ask any questions for, or you can ask some questions off the list.
think I want to gain that lore just in case we get into something soon. Where I
Okay.
can, I can heal.
Okay. You do recognize this symbol. In doing some reading about the more dark, the darker sides and some strangeness and oddities. One of the books you read mentions the Order of the Dying Sun. The Order of the Dying Sun. And the order is they use a lot of like sunset imagery, but this is it's a holy symbol, and on the surface it's one of these like an apocalyptic cult. You know, the world is going to end, but that's a good thing because the true and faithful who believe the way they should believe are going to be exalted at the right hand of the deity and will be given dominion over the new earth, which is a paradise. Yeah, um, their methods are they don't have a problem with violence, and hints that they may be using some actual black arts, dark wizardry, dark sorcery. You don't know if you buy all that. Science can explain a lot of things, but that the book that you read said some of their devotees can do things that mortal man is not meant to be able to do. But yeah, the tenant says the the best thing that we can do in this world is to bring all human life and civilization to an end, because then the next age can start. So yeah, not real sweet guys to have at a party. So go ahead and gain that lore points, and your hair just gets a little whiter on the sides. I'm kidding. But all right, so Madame Etoile, oh no, you're busy. All right, so you've done the machinations. You think you're not seeing, well, you're not seeing any light um from above. It's interesting that the electricity still works here. You hadn't thought of that up until this point. All right, so you're in some kind of crude grow room with some sort of examination slash religious. Oh, sister, you figured that out. This entity on the table wasn't some poor soul that was brought here. Oh, may he rest in peace. Um, the reason you said surgical table is because there's runnels for blood. This person was probably killed in a sacrifice.
Oh. Would I be able to do just like a little prayer for them?
Of course, of course. Uh, Give me a passion roll just for funsies. How much of your heart do you put into the prayer for the poor soul? Oh, okay. I mean, that's terribly unfortunate. The fingers twitch, and then the arms twitch, and then the eyes open. You think they're eyes, they're a dully glowing red fungal appearance. All right, everybody give me a shock roll. That's going to be reason. Oh,
Oh.
oh.
Do I have anything? No, I would not put, so just a reason roll. Ooh, it's nat.
Not.
Oh no,
Ooh.
it's not nat. Never mind.
Ah.
Nat 12. Okay. Madame, you, let's see. Madame, you will suffer only a minimal amount of shock, and you may act normally. So you only take 1 point of shock. Mark it down. then anybody, let's see who rolled the 7s and 9s. Tommy, you're going to take 2 points of shock, and you're at -1 forward to your next action.
Okay.
Sister, this has really maxed out your weird stuffometer. So you take 2 shock, and you're either -1 ongoing and in the scene until you leave this space and premises, or you give me 1 hold to spend later. By the way, how many hold from last session do I have? 2? I think I've got 2 from last session.
Yeah, there were 2 fails last session.
Okay, so I got, yeah, you either give me a third, or you take -1 for the rest of the scene.
I'm just gonna have to give you a third.
Oh, okay, beautiful. All right, the body on the slab is attempting to sit up and get off the slab. It's again, the proportions are all wrong. It's got sort of, now that you look, kind of a spidery appearance, and it's getting up, and it only has eyes for the good sister. Oh, 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 that's when the other eyes open on the face. It's got 2 on the cheekbones and 2 more above the other eyes. Again, they look like wrinkles, but then they pop open, and the mouth opens into this gaping, fang-filled thing, and it's sitting up and it's reaching out toward the sister. Tommy, what do you do?
Blast, blast, blast.
Blam, 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 yes.
Smite, smite.
When all else fails, smite. All right. Go ahead and give me a violence roll, please. That would be
All right.
resort to violence. Roll plus your might.
All right. Might submit. Okay.
Oh,
Oh, blam, blam, blam. Okay. So,
Wait, hold on. I do have a -1, so it brings it down to a 9.
okay. So, thank you for doing that. All right. So you may either take definite hold. In this case, you could protect the sister with a take definite hold, and you get 2 of these. Take definite hold, suffer little harm, or inflict terrible harm, or impress, dismay, or frighten your enemy. I will give you a hint. You probably will not be able to impress, dismay, or frighten this particular enemy. Which 2 would you like?
I'm sorry, sister, but I need to end this thing as fast as I can, so inflict terrible harm.
Okay, so that's 1. Are you gonna,
you do have 2.
you have 2. Are you gonna protect the sister, or are you going to avoid a little bit of harm in return?
Okay, I'll protect the sister. Since I have
Oh,
to, I'll protect the sister.
good man, good man. All right, so it's this thing is over fairly quickly. Tommy keeps pumping rounds into this thing until it goes down. It's relatively fragile. Uh that the reddish fungus covering that cracks like exoskeleton. Like, you can see, what bullet holes look like. These don't. These look like cracks in pottery. It's like you're putting holes through thick pots, and it cracks and shatters like that too. Tommy puts 2 rounds in the torso and 1 right between one set of eyes, but not before it claws and bites you. Tommy, go ahead and take 2 harm, please.
Okay, does armor work like it does in Splintered Moon, where I would, instead of taking 2, then take 1?
Yeah, what armor do you have?
I took tough as nails, which is being considered having 1 armor at all times.
Oh, okay, yeah, you soak. Um, so do you avoid the bite, or do you avoid the claws?
I think I'm trying to avoid. I think I avoid the bite, but then get the claws in response.
Okay, yeah. Um, so the whatever it is down on the floor. Again, it's not even bleeding. It's oozing this. Oh, the blood is green with a reddish little flecks floating in it. really gross. And you are all, I don't know if you've ever fired well, I don't know if you fired any weapon in an enclosed space. All of your ears are ringing, and you're not going to be able to hear anything um, for a while. The sound passes, or the deafness passes. But yeah. So now you're in the possession of a religious symbol of an apocalyptic cult on the wall, a dead something or other on the floor, and some grow trays and some fertilizer. What do you do?
Okay.
Tommy's lighting up a cigarette and he's taking a step back for a second.
It's Miller time. So
Just ended some creature from hell. It's like, yeah, man, I need a cig.
yeah. Okay. Actually, speaking of that, we are at 4:20 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. This would be a decent time to take a quick bio break. Thank you, faithful viewers, for sitting with us this far as our Doty adventurers burn stuff and blow things. You actually burned stuff and blew stuff up. I say that all the time, and you did. Yay! Again. Let's see if we can just knock the habit right off the good sister. All right, so we will be back in 5 to 10. Thanks for being here. No theoretical bias.
Your family struggles, but Bob Casey, he's for they, them, not you. Fire
Would you have done something differently than President Biden?
1.
Welcome back, brethren, sistren, and other. I'm your host, Saga Smith, here at No Theoretical Bias. All right, so explosion, fight with the horrible fungus creature, ears ringing. What do you do?
Yeah,
Um,
I'm taking a beat. I'm pretty shocked.
Okay.
all right.
I'm also pretty
Who
shocked.
wants tea?
Guys.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. That's not a bad idea. So Madame Etoile, in absence of anything else, makes up some of her fortifying tea. Very, very tasty. Um, What's a calm tear system? Are you actually trying to calm some of the shock in your compatriots there?
Yes, I am.
Oh, even better. All right, so let's do that. Excuse me. So, Madame, you may attempt to quickly attempt to snap someone out of a mental fugue. Um, Go ahead and give me a reason roll, please.
Oh, is it not stock for just normal therapy? I'm not using shock therapy.
To do it quickly, you well, okay, no, you can do it now. You can roll plus stock on this one. Um, and you get yeah, roll plus. Okay, you can either use the shock therapy. Oh no, that's an alien. That's a
Yeah.
lore move.
And I don't have any lore.
Yeah, sorry. The move that the doctor used was also a lore move. I'll take that on myself though. You were just good at what you were doing. Yeah. So go ahead and give me a roll plus stock roll, please.
Now, do I choose what stock I want to use, or is it my total stock right now?
You can use up to 3 stock, but you burn those stock until you can replace them.
And this is for each?
Yeah, you'll get the bonus will be on both rolls.
Okay, then I'm going to use 3, so I get 3 on each.
Okay, so give me a roll.
So 2d6, and I'll add the 3 when it rolls.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's 1d6, so let's roll another.
Okay,
That's a 9.
so that's a 9. All right, so partial success. All right. The good madame gets into her patter, speaking softly and gently, passing around cups of tea. It's odd standing here in a subterranean room full of soil and the body is starting to I want to say rot, but it's not really rotting. It's turning into a liquid. Deliquesce is the actual term for that. Um, but you get as far away from it as you can. Everybody has a nice hot cup of tea. You both heal one segment of shock. Nicely, nicely done. And yeah, the smell of the tea seems vaguely muted, but it's nice. All right. So you've had time for a lovely Madame Etoile tea ceremony. Pack that up, ready to go. All right. A lot of stuff around here. What are you doing from here?
So I mentioned a cigarette previously. Can I toss the like, I don't know, I guess you smoked all of it. So toss like the still lit butt into the liquid just to see what happens.
Do we want to
Okay.
get out of the room?
So it's not flammable. Got it.
Apparently not. However, I don't know if you know this. It's not the gasoline that burns, it's the gasoline fumes. You can throw a lit cigarette into a bucket of gasoline and the gasoline will put it out. You just don't want an open flame near the fumes.
Does
TP.
does this liquid that's it like turning into, does it match what I had what the sister and I have extracted earlier?
Extracted from
Just some of the fungus itself by boiling it down.
No, your essence of the plant, uh, for lack of a plant fungus, is mostly red. The greenish stuff apparently is what served this creature as blood, but it does have like red particulate matter in it. What are you doing with the greenish liquid with red chunks?
I honestly don't really want to touch that.
I think Tommy will, he'll take his handkerchief off, put it over his hand. Are there any vials around?
Yes, Madame, as part of her tea set, she does have a couple of, they're basically tea jars, but they're airtight. So and you actually used up some of your stock, so you do have a couple of empties.
Yeah.
So she swishes it around with water and hands it to you.
All right, I think I'll take a sample of it, holding the vial with the making sure I'm not coming into contact, and
Yeah.
I'll pick it up and just screw it on.
Okay. Um, the liquid on the outside of that tea jar dries rapidly and flakes off completely. So, and you notice that as soon as the body is completely turned into goo, the goo starts hardening at the edges, and it's looking like it's going to dry out completely as well. While you're doing that, what's everybody else doing?
Okay, with the vial, I'm gonna tell everybody my theory about how I think the cold controls the fungus because the icebox has been long defective, meaning it's been warming up in there.
Mm-hmm.
And if the red grew out of control when it originally was just supposed to be seeds like the other one, I think the cold has something to do with controlling it.
Interesting. Okay. Did you want to try to puzzle a few things out?
Yes, actually.
Okay. Go ahead and give me that. You can use passion um, instead of reason for that, since you are empathetic. I'm sorry, drawing conclusions. Okay, bam. Gosh, you folks are rolling really, really, really well. All right, so puzzling things out. You can ask 3 questions from the list, or you can gain 1 point of lore. Um, and I'll tell you some information otherwise. Or I can answer the questions: what is it? What does it mean? How can I get in, out, or past this? Who's in control? Which enemy is the most dangerous? What are the weaknesses of things like this? What should I keep an eye out for? And how does situation X fit into situation Y?
So I think the first question I'm gonna ask, not surprisingly, is what is its weakness?
What is its weakness? Okay. Um, um, It might actually be sunlight, and here's why I say that. The reddish growths, even though they're odd, they are definite plant-like structures. There's sort of an interface between that and the root system, and the roots aren't roots, they're fungal tendrils. Okay, so even though the plants themselves don't like sunlight, the fungus doesn't, some fungus doesn't do really well under, yeah, I don't know if ultraviolet light has been determined yet, but under sunlight. So any major growths of this type of fungus would probably find sunlight very bad. Um, so any creatures like this you'd probably expect to be nocturnal. Um, Next question.
Um, what is this? Just like fully, I want a comprehensive, just like see if it clicks in my head.
Okay. As far as you can figure, um, looking at the fertilizer, looking at the growths in the regular plant products, and looking at the stuff on the creature before it completely dissolves, um, and you might uproot a few things and look at them. Um, there seems to be something. There seems to be something in the fertilizer that introduces aspects of the red grass into any living plant. Okay, you've got corn with red threads through it. You've got local grass, just regular old grass that's got red to it. And as you know, it's all one big thing. So that's going to be tapping energy to grow a larger fungal mass. Given the fact that The fungus was apparently an animating force on this creature, that was acting with intention and maybe some measure of intelligence. Um, yeah, it's growing something. Now, the numbers have been bopping in your head. Whoever's got the highest reason, maybe Tommy. Um, you mentally were like, how big was the office and how much dust was in there and how big of a boom was that? And then your mind says 3 boxcars of that. And you're mapping out the boom. That was a really, really big boom. Um, so yeah, yeah, it explains the devastation pretty well. The other one, I don't know if any of you are from farm backgrounds, but 3 boxcars of fertilizer could cover acres and acres and acres of um, growth. If you were using, normal amounts of fertilizer in a cornfield or whatever, that's a lot of that's a lot of fertilizer, and a lot of stuff that would be putting energy into a hidden fungal growth underneath. Oh, the one of the corns has advanced to the point where it's got an ear. Um, and a little investigation on your part, all the kernels have a tinge of red to them. You're like,
Mm.
I don't know what would happen if you introduce this to an animal. But third
And I get,
question,
what should I keep an eye out for?
what should you keep an eye out for? All right. Um, well, you know about nocturnal stuff. If there's any creatures that have been mutated by this fungus, they're going to be active at night. Um, you should look out for hmm, well, the pieces that aren't making sense. The Bill Shumway, the conductor, had some connection to Jensen Chemical, who was delivering fertilizer. The train was bound for the train was bound for California. Big, big, big growths out in California. Huge, huge orchards, oranges. Oh, California oranges. If you can get them, a delicacy. Blood oranges, especially, they've got their crossbreed with the grapefruit. Blood orange for breakfast. Hundreds of thousands of people across the country having some having some good blood orange for breakfast.
Oh
Um,
God.
yeah, and you probably wouldn't notice a little extra red, but yeah, evidently there was something going on that the conductor was apparently a part of, but um, the the questions, what you should be on the lookout for. Why was the wife on premises? That doesn't
Mm.
make any sense. What was the deal with Shumway and the chemical company? And how does Madman McGilligan fit into that? What was what was what actually happened to cause all of this mayhem? But to be
Okay.
on the lookout for yeah, any nocturnal creature activity, um, and connections. You're looking for connections. All right. Good sister, what are you doing?
I'm not actually too sure. Um, if everyone else is exploring the room, and we've already looked over the body, is there anything that anyone might have missed?
Give me a poke around roll, please.
Is that reason?
I believe so, yes. Poke around, I'm sorry, poke
It's
around's luck.
Oh, lovely.
Bong, of course. All right, so looking around here, you can either find a good item, a minor item, or a clue, or a hidden area or threshold.
I want a good item.
Good item. All right. Do you want something informational? Let's see. Good item. Normally that's just a mundane item that's got some positive aspects. How would the sister uh define a good item? What would that be? Um
Either something that she could use later, or maybe something that would be like a clue, Loki, or like anything really.
okay. Oh, um well, okay, so the plaque on the wall, um, green and polished copper, there seems to be, you find a space behind it. Um, and in the space is a British revolver. It's a Webley revolver. Um, and 2 dozen shells for the revolver. Um, so 24 shells. The shells are hand loaded. These were not purchased someplace. The brass was probably is reused. Um, the bullet part of the shells isn't black. It isn't lead. Looks like silver.
Huh.
Hmm.
How could someone use silver? What are the
Okay.
stats on the revolver? Is it just like a normal one?
So yeah, it's a normal pistol. It's good quality. It won't jam typically, unless
Yeah.
under extreme circumstances. Webley makes a pretty good revolver. Um, British British manufacturer. Um, and it's a caliber, it's not gonna be hard to find shells for it regularly, but these were hand-loaded silver bullets.
Hmm.
All right. Anybody else doing anything?
I think, okay, I think there needs to be a conclusion drawn here. So, the bodies were found for the conductor and the wife, correct? Or no?
Yes, badly burned and blown apart.
Okay. I think we shouldn't operate under the assumption that they're both dead, because I think that in order for them both to be dead, it'd be very easy for them to just toss someone else in there and just be like, oh, well, that was the conductor clearly because, they're so badly burned beyond recognition type thing. I
Yeah.
think we should operate as if maybe the conductor is still alive. And I think we should also operate under the assumption that there were more people than just the conductor involved. Because there's still the idea of, okay, who's flipped the switch? Because it was going in the wrong direction, correct? The train was?
Um, like I said, the switch goes from one track to the next. Somebody had set it to halfway
Mm.
while the train was rolling.
So
Um,
we do know someone flipped the switch, so we're missing that person. We need to figure out who flipped the switch because that could be pretty important. They would probably understanding what was going on. That's one thing. The second thing is we need to understand who ordered this for California. we can assume that it was the conductor. Maybe he was the middleman, but like there's probably a larger organization here.
I would think Jensen. There's
Yeah.
something going on with Jensen.
I think we need to also investigate the trading post because it seems to be that he located his site within this original building. I think we should investigate who owns the post and just the trading post and see who's there, who runs it, that kind of thing. Maybe ask for a tour and just say we're interested in the architectural elements or something. Not me. I will not be asking that. One of you two. I don't think they'd believe me. Um,
Yeah,
hmm,
when
I
Tommy,
think
when you're walking down the street, you're passing the mom pushing the baby stroller. The baby's like, he's a cop.
yeah,
I mean, you reek of it. It's not,
yeah,
it's not like there's like a faded spot on your shirt or your jacket that used to have the badge, but there, you just, yeah, you're cop forwards and backwards. All right, keep going.
I
I
think
think
we
also
do.
looking
Go ahead.
looking
I
into
think we.
McGilligan is a good idea.
Okay.
If there was any spots where he used to hang out, I know he was homeless, but like, is there any areas like he set up a camp or something like that? If we could investigate that.
Yes, yes. Again, the wanderers of the road, the rail riders, are a thing. If you could find a hobo camp around here someplace, and yeah, somebody will probably know where that is. Um,
Sister, I think
yeah.
that should be you.
Okay.
All right. So where to from here?
Okay. I have one more proposition though.
Okay.
The last thing I think we should do. This place has had to be maintained. I do think it might be pertinent to stake out this location and maybe wait for somebody to come by here.
Okay. I will tell you this. Point of fact, based on the amount of dust on things, um, there hasn't been anybody down here in quite a long time.
Okay.
Probably since the explosion.
So this fungus thing has been developing since. Okay.
Yeah, apparently.
Hmm. Okay. And never mind. We don't need to stake out this location. Yeah. Where do you want to start? You want to start Hobo Camp, or do you want to start?
I can get into the trading post. I can do my thing, be put on a show, and see if I can get into there and figure out the operations or who runs it.
Okay.
All right, so heading over toward the trading post. Well, you come out of the rail offices, pick your way over the rubble. Again, the blast did carry this far and damage these buildings, but the entryway was open. And you're heading back to the main drag there. And it's trending toward late afternoon by this point. Um, Standing out beside the road are three men in broad brimmed hats, white shirts, the bolo ties.
Um,
Um, None of whom you recognize. There is the two of them are generally average size, average build. There is one, he qualifies somewhere between a corn-fed Iowa boy and side of beef. Um, I mean, the good sister could probably sit on one shoulder without, having a cheek hanging off the side. Um, and they're all looking at you, hands folded in front of them. The two of them are wearing uh, copper, have the copper clasp. One of them's wearing silver, and the silver one says, "Excuse me, sister, lady, and gentlemen. The elder would like to have a few words with you, please, and thank you." The big side of beef sneezes and is glaring at sister, good sister.
Tommy's gonna do something funny here. He's gonna smile,
We all gonna laugh.
like real wide smile, and be like, "Oh, I love talking to him. I just had a conversation with him earlier. Yeah, sure thing. I'll see you at mass later."
It's to be hoped. Yes, sir.
Okay, sure thing.
If you'll step right this way, please. And that's when two others step out of wherever they were.
Mhm.
Well, it's been fun, y'all.
Now, I think I'm gonna kind of go in front of Tommy. Charlie, but now, what seems to be going on here, my friends?
I wish I could tell you, madam. The elder has requested your presence, and it is, how does he say, a matter of some urgency. His nose is twitching a little bit too, like he's trying to repress a sneeze. Now would be good.
Let's go.
Yeah,
All right.
I
So,
think. Yeah, I'm gonna walk. I'm gonna stay away from the sneezy guy.
one of the other four has a sneezing attack at some point. You catch some side eye from the silver wearer. You're heading into town, um, back into the main town, but you're not headed toward the church.
Mm,
There's a hill, um, and this is pretty obviously like the poorer side of town. But as you head up the hill, it's a gentle slope. The most delicious smell. Oh my gosh, somebody's baking something. Oh, and you can smell it from here. Just a little bit of heaven. And you're heading up the hill. There's a couple of the brethren standing in front of what's apparently a tiny little shop, where it's basically a house that somebody's put like a little addition to it for like sales. And there's a tiny little hand painted sign, real pretty. I mean, freshly repainted apparently, though the wood looks old. It says Hernandez Donuts. Okay, and you're headed this way. Um, there are again the two standing there. Then you notice the elder, and he's animatedly talking to the abuelita in the window, and they're just really rapid fire Spanish. Um, and she's laughing, and he's laughing, and she says something, and you know, uh, and he's got a big, I mean, a big box of pastry, and he's halfway through a glazed, and they're just having a good old yak, and he looks over at you all with a smile, and he says, you know, buenas tardes, and he makes his goodbyes, effusive. You see him hand her a bill. Um, Either these are the best donuts in forever, or he just paid like 10 times as much as you would for a box of donuts anyplace else. And she's very effusive and thank you kind of a thing. So he's got his box of donuts, and he walks over to where you are, sun setting off in the west. Uh, he hands, uh, he casually hands the box of donuts to the big bruiser. And so, um, it appears to me, Mr. Stone, Miss Miss Madam Seal, sister, it appears to me that, and his nose twitches. Sorry, allergies. Though his eyes keep getting drawn to the sister, it appears to me that your little excursion into our lovely town seemed to have some purpose or agenda. I do not judge. The Lord will judge. I do not judge. However, and again, no falsehoods were spoken, but I do wish that we've been made aware that you were interested in the goings on and the unfortunate incidents surrounding the rail yard, we would have advised you not to go to that place for a variety of reasons, as we are encouraging you now to leave town. There really is nothing here for you. And again, his eyes keep getting drawn toward the sister. Are you excuse me, sister, does your order have something about perfume? Do you happen to be wearing a lovely scent today?
It is a woman's secret.
Oh yes, far be it. I've only been married for 30 years. You'd think I would have picked up on something. Um, but there are some concerns that you may have run afoul of some chemicals. Uh, that's, I try to eat and drink as the good Lord intended, but chemicals, they have everywhere. You may have gotten into something, sister, that you probably didn't want to get into. My, is that a fresh bandage?
Is he referring to like the bag of grass that I have with me?
No, he's referring to the first aid that you did on yourself to patch up the stuff from the boom.
Oh, baggage, not bag. Okay.
No, bandage. Sorry, I didn't enunciate.
Okay. Yeah, I'm a little clumsy sometimes. As a woman would be, but as a woman is, as everyone are, under the Lord.
Under the Lord, praise be. Actually, my associate here, brother Michael, um, has more than a bit of medical training. If you wouldn't mind, there are some concerns about any injuries you may have sustained recently, specifically in the rail yard. Yes.
Now she seems to be fine. I butt in. She's walking. She knows she's worth her salt. No offense, but she's worth her salt in the medical field.
Of that I have no doubts. Um, Sister, do you know the effects of dengue fever?
I'm unaware with it. Yeah, I've never heard of
Malaria,
it.
malaria, sleeping
Yes,
sickness,
malaria.
uh, Marburg virus, the
The
effects of the he reels off a couple of other infectious bacteriological parasite things. Most of them you've heard of, um, but he's going really far afield. Um, One of the considerations went back in the war, trench foot. Trench foot, I believe trench foot took more of our doughboys out of the fight than any of the actions of the Hun. Um, Walking about in wet boots and muck and the athlete's foot from hell. Excuse me, from heck. The devilish, just flesh. You could smell the rot. It led to gangrene in some cases. So fungal infections are no joke. Um, and Brother Michael has determined that some sort of fungal infection is taking hold. We thought it was valley fever, actually. Um, are you all familiar with valley fever? All right. We thought it was valley fever, and no, doesn't respond to those treatments. My concern, sister, is there are regional ailments, there are specifics that your obvious copious amounts of medical training, would not have exposed you to. And if, pardon the pun, you have been exposed to one of these fungal, what did you call it, brother? A vector. You may not know how to treat that without some specialized knowledge.
What's the vector?
Fungus.
But vectors usually mean it's transmitted by what's transmitting said fungus.
That is a very good question. It's growing late. Would any of you care for some of these donuts? Hernandez, you will never. I'm just brother. And he swiftly devours another glazed. Boy, I mean, from here, just the smell, you're just drooling. They're really, really tasty looking.
Does the ping of like that, like euphoria related to how good they are, does that remind me of the same one that hit when we boiled the fungus at the?
Oh, did you have it on it?
No, I did not. But you said the smell.
The smell.
Oh, no. This is 100% prime grade A baked good. But I mean, golden, and there's the little bit of they look absolutely delicious. So, if I can offer you all a sturdy chair and you enjoy a good cup of tea, don't you, madam? If I can, I've got some herbal teas that my wife swears by. I can't stand any. I mean, a cup of chamomile at night. But if you would just come this way, please, I would really appreciate some additional conversations with you. Anybody? Go ahead.
Mm-hmm. What?
Anybody putting up a fuss to heading off to a different location?
No, I'm
Yeah.
not.
I think the sister and the madam actually have somewhere to be tonight. I apologize. I don't think we can answer any questions in the morning if that's okay with you.
Mr. Stone, are you familiar with the name Jacob Larson?
No, sir. Are you familiar with the name Jensen Chemicals?
That I am. Jacob Larson actually, Jacob Larson was one of your first police lieutenants.
Oh boy. Then yeah, I guess I am.
Old Jake. Tone is so hard to carry over a telegraph. The telephone conversation that we had was very enlightening. I miss Jake. I owe Jake a lot. He served in the war. He speaks very highly of your skills and talents, Mr. Stone. He did mention a certain amount of, well, Grandma would have called it bullheadedness, but let's say tenacity of spirit. And Jake did mention that you've got, once you get the bit in your teeth, you do just want to keep running. If I can give you any assurance that I mean you and your friends here no harm, my interests and concerns are entirely for this community and keeping it safe. So again, you have no cause to trust me, and I understand that. But I feel like I can trust you with a few things, but not on the open street. I just possibly to establish my bona fides. Jacob said you had a case, and you were 100% convinced that I misremember the name. It seemed to be a fairly obvious crime of passion. Um, Husband killing wife. Um, and he said that you were pretty, again, tenacious about some certain bits of evidence that you had found, which again clearly indicated that the husband had taken the wife's life. Um, and you were again completely convinced up into the trial in which new evidence came to light and an innocent man was acquitted. He said you were surprised by it, but when given access to all the facts, he very reluctantly agreed that maybe he doesn't always have the answers. You do recall that, correct?
Sure.
So please, we mean you no harm whatsoever. There are some things that you do need to know, but not here, and it is growing late.
Okay, you can always stop by our offices.
Uh,
If it's urgent. That way the ladies can still keep their tea and bedtime.
hmm. I have some concerns about La Posada, Mr. Stone. As a railroad town, and as a noted rail stop, there are lots of eyes and lots of ears, eyes to see and ears to hear. And I would genuinely like to avoid any more notice than the two of us have drawn already by your visit to the church. Please, humbly, I am begging you, please come and sit down and speak with me.
Where are we headed then?
Actually, it's into the better part of town. It's my home, if you must know. It's not terribly far from the meeting hall, but and I'm so sorry, sister. The services for tonight have been canceled due to an unfortunate brief but debilitating illness on the part of the pastor myself, or at least I've let that be known. So if nobody kicks up a fuss, you are taken to a relatively modest home. Um, there are children playing in the yard and up the street. There's a really good game of stickball going on, and a lot of verbal harassment of player to player, probably because most of them are related. You come inside, um, seats you at a very sizable, I mean, full farm family size dinner table. The woman who's obviously his wife comes in, gives him a kiss on the cheek, and sets out a tray of lemonade for everybody. And he pours, finest kind. But feel free to take whatever refreshments I could do. We could probably. Do we have any chamomile, dear, or any other herbals? She'll look. So, our Jake tells me I can trust you, Mr. Stone. There are things, the things happening in the world today of which we were unaware in our younger days. Things that go bump in the night, aren't all fairy tales and children's nightmares. Jake and I saw a few things in the war that we couldn't easily explain. My faith kept my mind together, but and Jacob, Jake, he's a tough old bird. He was a tough old bird at the age of 22, I do believe. But we saw some things that we couldn't explain, things that science couldn't explain, and that put me on a path. I hope it is the right one. I trust that it was the right one. to seek out and destroy some of these evil influences that are impacting our world and our sanity. That work took quite a bit of toll on me. And so when I retired from my adventures, I started the church and gathered together some brethren. And again, we may not be able to save the whole world, but we can save one corner of it and have a piece of sanity and grace. It's to be hoped. This Jensen Chemicals connection with the blood grass, they call it. It's a great concern. And we have noticed that people who have, shall we say, poked around unwisely in heavily infested areas have exhibited certain traits that we as a community find undesirable. Does any of this sparking any contradiction in your thoughts?
What traits do you mean?
Transformation. Some of the brothers call it the mark of the beast, usually introduced by Mr. Stone. Did you have some, he's pointing at the scratches on your neck. Did you have some, oh dear me. And he sneezes off to the side, explosive, excuse me. Yeah. Yeah. Not to put too fine a point on it, ladies and gentlemen, we fear you may have become infected.
And
What does infection look like?
Usually introduced by wounds inflicted by someone else infected. Occasionally inflicted by excessive exposure to the blood grass, more specifically the root system. So,
And well, if you're
yeah.
excessive exposure, isn't this whole thing? It's cropping up over the town. Wouldn't you consider everyone infected then?
Saturation level. You know, I'm sure a good sister, you're familiar with the therapeutic doses of arsenic. Again, too much will kill you, and a tiny bit will encourage, blood flow, et cetera, et cetera. I hear someone's doing some wonderful work with is it bees? Something. Bee venom. I don't know anything about that. Yes, that is one of the concerns about that the dogs have is the spreading of this fungal growth. We are currently attempting to find some way of stopping it. Finding the source, finding the trunk of the fungus, as opposed to all these myriad branches, would be of some use. Unfortunately, we only know of one surefire cure of a fungal infection should it take hold. Again, as you say, madam, some people have uh, uh, minor contact with the fungus, and their constitutions are able to shrug it off. Some are not, and the incipient signs of that are fairly clear and obvious. May I offer you all the hospitality of some of my brethren? I hate to say quarantined and under observation, but that is what it would amount to.
Now, I don't know about my compatriots, but I'm feeling completely fine. You're the one that seems to have a case of the sneezes.
I have a fairly strong sense of scent. Some people have good eyesight, some people have good hearing. Jake used to say I should he said I should take the vows and go to work for one of the monasteries in France where they make all the delightful perfume. Ah, the good brothers. I don't have anything bad to say about other members of the cloth, but the reason that we have so many perfumes is that some of the good brothers in France were distilling brandy, cognac. And when all the flowers started showing up from the Far East, they started making perfumes too. I can't stand them. I have a strong scent allergy. And I can smell it on you.
But you sound very congested. Wouldn't that mute your sense?
It's not a congestion, not a. It's a response. Like the body brings up an immune response to a disease. It's an indicator.
Mm, mm. Right. Now, but you just said you could have a very strong sense of smell. Now, if you were congested, uh, you would have that full sense as your nasal orifices would be completely open. But you seem very.
You have all three been in the presence of a handgun fired in the last 5 hours. I surmise that Mr. Stone was the shooter, and then he proceeds to tell you what you had for your last meal.
Oh, they've been watching us.
The tea in your valise, madam, includes, and he names 4 types of tea, plus a special blend that I don't recognize. Probably one of your calming, uh, does smell a bit soporific and sedative. Like Mr. Stone does not like bleach, or at least his clothes, his white shirt hasn't seen bleach in a bit. Anything else?
Hmm. I think I'm kind of like eyeing Tommy. It's like we might have to casually eyeing like we might have to get out of here because I don't know if you guys. I think I put it completely together with like the donuts are so good. The when we had that little like sniff of the fungus, it was almost euphoric. I think I'm just trying to put two down. Like I'm
Oh,
finding possible escapes, like
well,
exit routes.
I think it's about time. Um, yeah, I think it's time that we do the grand reveal, right? Right, ladies. Here's the big reveal here. Um, and Tommy's gonna the vial, right?
Mm.
Tommy's gonna pull out the vial. He's gonna unscrew it and he's gonna pour it onto the table.
And he
It's
sneezes.
solid, right?
Which the vial of the green stuff?
With the blood type and like the little red particulates. He's just gonna.
Oh, I trust you took good care of the creature that provided that fluid.
Yeah, good care that a service weapon can provide.
Yeah. Yeah, they don't die easy, but they do die. Oh, well, all right. So you're deeper into it than I thought. All right. We had our concerns about Shumway for several months prior to the incident. Shumway is an old family in the area, and Brother William and his wife started to not be as active in their church, not ours, their respective church, which is odd. You talk, his mother and cousins and sister were all, oh, William has not attended. I wonder what it is. But they seem cheerful. What do you know about Church of the Dying Sun?
Great question.
Which one of
Sister?
you remembered that? Was it the sister?
Yeah.
I see by your eyes. When Bill and his wife died, we took the liberty of taking a closer look at his home and possessions. Found some things that reminded me of some things back from the bad old days. So I did some investigation. Um, Apocalyptic cults in your backyard are not something that you want to find. Apocalyptic cults with access to twisted horrors such as did you find one of the spidery ones or one of the
Spidery.
I knew we should have taken a closer look at the rail yard. So we're on the horns of a dilemma. This is not a situation about, oh, you know too much and we'll have to take you out to the north pasture, but you do know enough to get in trouble with the folks behind Jensen Chemical. And I'm sure there are eyes in this town that have noticed you noticing. Oh, as I said, there is only one cure that we know of, and we are hesitant to use it for reasons that may become obvious. But the observation period was simply to see if you, the exposed, actually develop secondary. We can do some things to treat wounds. Not much we can do about the lungs, but if your constitutions are hearty enough, you could just throw this off. It's not. I mean, it's not malaria or smallpox or measles. Oh dear, mumps. Oh,
Hmm.
oh, you can get measles walking through a warm room with a patient. That terrifies me on some great level. I'm sure we lost more soldiers to disease. But if you wouldn't, it's terribly, terribly important. Those who start exhibiting symptoms, their mind is one of the first things to go. They become very savage and snappish and near feral when the fungus growths start appearing on the skin and hardening into that exoskeleton. Yes, the spiders. I'm sorry. I've seen too many of them and they still make me want to throw up. But we would need to observe you for a period of time to make sure that isn't happening. And if it starts, again, we can offer a cure, but you'd have to accept it willingly. And I can't speak for any of you on that. It will not be forced upon you. Trust me. Too many side effects. Um, the good news is if you never do exhibit those secondary symptoms, if your system is strong enough to fight it off, then you're in no danger to anyone else. You talked about a vector, a means of transmission. Means of transmission is secondary and tertiary. What did you say? Secondary and tertiary stages of the infection. The last one, there's a transformative, horrible. Um, but the creature you encountered sounded like a stage 5, and that is the final stage as far as we know. For our safety and for yours, could we just offer you a place to stay, free food, and mildly scintillating company?
Now, you do mention what I mean, if we want to have no secrets out on the table, we did notice that corn and other very useful plants were seemed to be infected with this fungus, making them more of a reddish hue. And frankly, you seem to be pushing food on us, sir.
A thousand pardons. I could understand your suspicion on that. Since we don't want to get infected ourselves, we're very careful about produce. Um, on the other hand, most of us have a quirks to our constitution where we don't need to worry about the taint, the blood from the blood grass. Um, some of our family members are not so fortunate, so we're very, very cautious with that. I assume you're talking about. Did you get any of those donuts, darling? Good. Yeah. Yeah, they can have some, but save me one. Love you. No. Sometimes I think they built a town around Hernandez. Those folks know how to make a damn good donut. But I could understand you referring to the euphoria of the plants. Nope.
Has the place been inspected? The yeast, the flour?
Yes, but not in the way you might find scientifically valuable. Some of us can smell the taint. And did you notice Buford? Sweet, very sweet spirited, about the size of a barn. He's got a nose that makes mine look like nothing. So yeah, we have a few of the brethren who can go around and make sure. We have had to dispose of a few things. Um, Luckily, the most of what they grow around here is corn. So we've been getting the flour sacks on the train for a generation. So none of it produced around here. But the yeast, that's a very good thought. We might look more into the yeast. I confess I know next to nothing about baking or brewing or any of those, but that could be a concern. Um, uh, and he calls over one of the brethren in earshot and, oh, could you ask Brother Michael about contamination of yeast? Yeah, just put that bug in his ear. Yeah, thank you. Thank you, brother. All right. So, do you accept the cautious hospitality of your hosts or going to pursue other options?
Tommy's pursuing other options.
I mean, I think this is something that we should keep in mind, but if we want to look for other options, we could.
All right.
Can I inspect like Tommy's wound?
Oh, sure you can. If everybody could give me, pretty please with sugar on it, give me a, let's see, this is going to be a straight might roll.
Oh shoot. Okay.
Oh no.
Partial success. Okay. Total success and partial success. All right. So inspecting Tommy's wounds, you don't see any sign of anything other than, you know, trauma, lacerations. You take a minute to redress the wound. You notice that the elder is paying attention. Your legs, madam, your legs start to itch, have started to itch a little bit. Probably from where you dropped the jar of fertilizer at your feet. and there you have a little bit of a, it's somewhere between a rash and an allergic reaction going on. But and that wasn't there this morning. And sister, any place, if you check yourself, any place where you got burned by the explosion, um, again, it's like first degree burns. It's nothing horrible, bad sunburn basically, but it does seem to be a little redder than it should. And the elder shrugs and stands up and he says, "Well, as I say, I can't keep you." Um, and he points at the two ladies. I, it's my belief that your former detective friends here should be fine, but Mr. Stone, you might keep an eye on the ladies to see if they are exhibiting any additional symptoms.
Of course, and I'm sure you'll keep an eye on us.
Very closely, yes. I hope you don't mind. It is, again, it is for the greater good. All right. So, where do you head from here?
Oh,
Tommy's got a lot of questions. I think first we need to get out.
Okay.
Okay. Once we're out, I think he's gonna kind of look at both of you and say, okay, we should start walking back. But while we walk back, we need to look into. I have 3 things I think we need to look into. First of all, the sneeze, right? Some people have good senses. Nah, they've mutated that way somehow. This is not going to be a natural thing. Otherwise, much more people would probably have it than just the people who are dogs. Next, I think Order of the Dying Sun. I think that needs to be something we look into. And then, I want to pour over the ledger tonight while we maybe go for some downtime. What do you guys think?
I want to look into possible aids for
Okay.
this. If there is something like this, we have a feeling about sunlight. However, I don't think that's enough, seeing how this thing is slowly creeping over.
Yeah. Also, go ahead.
I wanted to try. Did we ever try using ice on it?
I don't think it's gonna be that. That ice kind of. We figured out ice wasn't it in my puzzle things out.
All right, so then
Or
we have sunlight. We don't.
I mean, we could still try it.
We could try alcohol. I don't know if alcohol kills fungus though, but
Alcohol's a pretty strong
it is a pretty strong.
antimicrobial in general.
Is there?
So we know that it's sunlight, right? And then he mentioned that they have a cure, but that he's reluctant to give it to people. So that's not going to be alcohol or something easy, right?
I'm sure it's killing them. If I had to take a wild guess, it's probably
that was
killing
my
them.
guess too. Yeah.
Would any of us? Does anybody like have alcohol? Like, would I have like cleaning alcohol on me at all?
It's easy to get, sure. I mean,
Ah,
again, you're at the best hotel in the state. Somebody would be able to provide you with some rubbing alcohol and whatnot.
If we could
As
get a
long as it's not
mirror,
illegal.
a mirror.
or some kind of thing to reflect sunlight, I want to try something
Oh.
Well, again,
like
you're
a
warned-
magnifying glass.
Oh.
yeah,
I
yes.
could try to use the glass of my lantern, maybe angle it in such a way that it would magnify.
See,
Magnifying glasses would not be hard to find.
Oh, okay.
I mean, yeah, that's a lot of people like to look at stuff a little closer. The sun is, however, going down, so your source of sunlight is going to be gone for a few hours. All right, so some things. Go ahead.
Could I try to see if like my odd lantern, like putting like one of my burns up to the light to it would do anything? Out of curiosity, because it's
How
very
how
weird.
dark is the room that you want to do that in?
I'm assuming one of our rooms has like a closet that I could go into.
Oh, sure. Or you can, close down the curtains and okay. Yeah. Are you by yourself when you do this or with other people?
Um, I assume we're talking in a room, right?
Okay.
So then I'll excuse myself for a moment and
Because
like,
if this thing produces the light you need or what you want, this thing is going to produce sunlight. So I think we blind ourselves. We put something over our eyes.
Okay. So your
for my
experiment,
lantern?
Well,
your
yeah,
ex-
this thing produces the light you want. You want
Oh,
sunlight.
the light I want. You're right.
hmm, you never tried that. And again, it does have a greenish tint to it when you produce it. So, in normal, when you start with normal lantern light, yes, any place that you got burned by the explosion, it fluoresces actually.
Hmm.
Like it's under a black light, only the fluorescence is reddish in tone, even in the green light,
Mm.
which shouldn't actually be able to happen. Green light reflecting on red looks black. This is not, it's fluorescing a faint red. Do you
Hmm.
perform this experiment on any of your compatriots?
Yeah, like Madam's leg or Tommy's wound.
Okay.
Tommy
So
is not gonna let you do that to him. He is like, I don't know what kind of weird thing. My wound is fine. I got a
All
clean
right.
bill. I'm gonna stay clean bill over here.
but are you in the same room?
I'll wait outside.
Okay. Yes, Madame, the rash that's spreading on your legs is also, there's little flecks of a fluorescing red in it.
Mm.
So, all right, and that's about when you two both start feeling badly. Um, the coughing starts, um, a little bit of a fever. Um, you're if you want to treat it with some tea and whatnot. But the fatigue is what really, really gets you. Tommy, it's pretty obvious that these two are coming down with something. Um, hey, sister, do you use your lantern as like a nightlight?
Yeah, sometimes.
Okay. Um, if you check on them, Tommy, Tommy's wounds don't have the fluorescence.
Mm.
They just look like bad scratches. Healing nicely. All right, I'll let you off the hook. You all are sick. The two of you are sick for a day, completely debilitated, fever, nausea to the point where you don't want to get up. You have no appetite, um, coughing, even though you're not coughing up much. Oh, I tell a lie. You actually cough up like a quart of snot each. And again, the reddish tinge is of concern to you, good doctor, but it turns out it's not blood. And after about 24 hours, not the next day. So Tommy, you're going to have a full day to do something on your own. Not the next day, but the day after that, you're both feeling a lot better. And strangely, when you inspect your uh, uh, conditions with the lantern, they're no longer fluorescing. So it seems like you might have dodged a bullet on this one. So, Tommy, in the 24 hours you got, you're going to look over the journal, you said. What were the other investigative points you wanted to look into?
So I want to make like a I guess like an investigation board in my office.
Sure.
I also is my office lockable?
Yes.
Okay, I'm gonna lock my office, and I'm also going to uh I guess tie like a very thin string, like okay, is tape a thing? I don't know if tape's a thing.
Yeah, most of it, yeah, you can find some, people are still mostly using twine, but yeah, you can probably find some tape someplace.
My goal is to like, I don't want to say tape the door, but I want to be able to know if someone has gone in the room
Oh, yeah,
or
there's some old detective tricks about that,
yeah.
you just you take something small and you put it on and you put it up just the side of the door so that the door opens a normal amount. It's going to slide the small thing back. So if it's moved, but it's unobtrusive, you've got something that you use for that. Yeah, so you can lock the door and you can see if anybody is in there. I'll let you off the hook on that one. Anytime you check to see if anybody's been in your office, no one has. So journal, what else?
I want to kind of spend the day. Uh, I wrote down like a huge note here. It says they are watching, like all across my pad.
Uh-huh.
I wanna basically figure out who's watching me and watch for people who are tailing me. You
Mhm.
walk around town completely with no agenda, just basically
Mhm.
trying to see if anyone's following me.
Gotcha. Okay, so that's probably going to be a puzzle things out. Give me a reason roll, please.
All right. Reason. Submit.
Oh, beautiful. All right. Well, it's very, bless you. It's very obvious that you do have the dogs are on the lookout for you. Again, you're not like followed or shadowed, but evidently the word has gone out. Anytime they catch sight of you, again, it's usually two or three people in a clump. One of them is obviously taking mental notes where you are, what you're doing. Um, but again, you're not followed. That's the good news. The bad news is there's enough of them out that, I mean, you could probably duck into a barn or something and get lost sight of. But any place of note in town has got somebody taking taking a look at it. Um, Someone else is paying undue attention. Um, oh, it's one of the groundskeepers. Um,
Hmm.
Otherwise, I'm sorry, two of the groundskeepers. Otherwise, absolutely unremarkable people doing a good job keeping all the plants trimmed back and whatnot. But you do notice there's somebody like clipping a hedge who's keeping an eye on you. And one of the other groundskeepers who's out working on this and that. You feel like there's some intention and you're being tracked. Um, Nobody off the grounds of the hotel though. La Posada seems to be the only place where those watchers are in place.
Hmm.
Okay.
Okay.
And then give me a puzzle things out, a different one for the journal, please.
All right.
And you can take +1 to that because you have a tangible clue.
Do I just click when it says other modifiers? I just press 1.
Yep.
All right.
Holy smoke.
Hold
Natural
on. I
12.
think lore point.
That's a
Yeah.
nat.
Yep.
Oh my
Okay.
god.
This is specifically dark lore. Okay. So go ahead and add a lore point, but you have found out something about the nature of the universe that is very disturbing to you.
Hmm.
Between now and next time that we meet, I'd like you to come up with what that is. Bear in mind, it's dealing with an apocalyptic cult. Um, uh, the strange language, you figure out pretty quickly it's a code. It's not a foreign language. It has the appearance of one, because it's chunked up differently. Um, so basically, if you can imagine, the code is this code word. The words are encoded, but they have extra letters at the front and the beginning, at the front and the end. So if it was like miércoles, it looks like a Spanish word. It is actually a Spanish word, but you read this and it's just like, oh, this is a some sort of foreign language. It's actually not. It's actually the 5 letters in the middle are like, reason, whatever, 6 letters. But so it's a code that's got the addition of like spoiler letters at the beginning and the end. Once you figure that out, holy smokes, this is part religious rant. This is part devotional. Um, it becomes pretty obvious that old Bill was a member of this apocalyptic cult that's trying the dying sun. It's not that the sun is dying; they want to kill it. Okay, So darkness will spread across the land, and the true believers will rise with the light in their eyes, and strike down the unbeliever and the so it's part of it is like a hand copying over of a religious text that it just makes your hair stand on end. There's some descriptions of what will happen to somebody who's exposed to the fungus, um, signs to look for of one of the incipient brethren, um, that sort of thing. Um, so you also, just in passing, you figure out they're big into um, sunset themes, because they want the sun to go down and never come back up again. But yeah, no, Shumway was just eyeballs deep in this cult, true believer. Um, he made some notes of individuals who came and went. They all have like, names of, brother Sunbiter and sister, Death of the Moon and things like that. So they're not code names exactly, but they might as well be. You have no idea who they're referring to. They have strange rituals and this, but he was really excited that the brothers and sisters in Jensen Chemical were able to um, expand the growth of the seed, capital T, capital S. Um, and he makes notes of some of his experiments down in the basement of how quickly it gets into the ecosystem, how much of it has to be present in order for the local plant life to pick it up. Um, and yeah, it's horrifying. Those three, and it's a shockingly small amount in the soil that needs to take root. Um, I mean, just looking around the town with just like gentle dusting that would be in the aerosols left over from an explosion. You've got all the red pop, 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 pop. Um, if you purposefully put a scoop of this um, in every bag of fertilizer that you used in a agricultural sense, thousands and thousands of acres could have been impacted by this. What else? He speaks of some strange rites that he enacted with his wife. I'm not going to delve into that, but yeah, curls your toes, makes your hair turn white. Um, yeah. So he does make mention of like the source or the well. That's it, the well. The religious text talk about a well of darkness from which darkness will pour forth like a river, then an ocean. So he's talking about the well. It seems to be a actual physical location that he's referring to. Um, and it's someplace close, not sure where. All right, so as the sister and the madam make a full recovery from their fungal or near fungal infection, as the detective is learning things mortal man was not meant to know, we are out of time, pushing 5:56 Eastern Standard Time in the PM. All right, so end of session. Each of you has the option to add one um, trust to
Could
one of your relationships.
could we try something quick before?
Please do.
Okay. So after we're recovered, could I like maybe like prick my finger till it bleeds a bit and hold it up to the lantern to see if there's
Yeah.
anything? Nothing.
Doesn't feel it. Doesn't
So
feel
we
it.
seem to have beat it.
So
Yeah.
we beat it. Okay.
Oh, um, since you're of a scientific bent, sister, you probably tried that while you were like, oh, I just need to find out if it's systemic. No, even when you were in the throes of your nausea and whatnot, it does seem like your system was able to fight it off.
So I think us feeling really sick is just an
Yeah,
overreaction of the immune
overreaction.
system.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so excellent question, though. I like that. All right, so each of you may choose to add one trust to any of your relationships, but just the one. If you do, let me know if your trust reaches 3 or higher. Yes.
I just added one. I didn't. It hasn't reached 3 or higher yet, but I added one to the madam for being a trusted lookout. basically, she pointed out the grass, and
Yep.
it was good.
Yep.
Made sure everything was. She helped me set up the desk.
She's solid. Absolutely solid. Madame, did you find a reason to trust one of your compatriots anymore this time around?
Um,
Or less? You can also do less, but most of the time it's more.
I think I'm gonna do the same for Thomas. It's not at 3. But I think I mean, if I could choose, I'd do both of them because sister and I had a sick episode together.
It's one or
I
the other,
but yeah, I'm choosing Thomas, yeah. But
okay.
if I could.
Okay.
I think just our cooperation.
Okay, just
with-
as a mechanical note, you can have up to a +3 trust with somebody. If you roll that over, either you two are gonna have a vignette in which you share a secret, or you can just roll it over. I think it goes to +1 again, but you roll it over and you get a point of lore. So that's another way to generate lore, is to learn more about your compatriots. Finally, sister, do you trust anyone more or less based on current events?
I'm gonna say I trust Tommy more because he did jump in front of me and like save me from that mushroom monster.
Yes, he did.
So
Yes, he did. All right. The other
Yeah.
upshot is you've all had time to like process some stuff, and between a little bit of medical care from the sister and a little bit of mental health care from the good madam, you can mark off all of your shock and physical harm. So starting next time, you are going to be in the pink of health, the pink of it, I say. All right. So tune in next time, gentle viewers, to No Theoretical Bias. They're in the thick of it, folks. And that one of the big reveals has yet to show its face. Will they find the well, the source of contamination spoken of by the order of the dying sun? Will the brothers, the dogs in God's vineyard, will they prove to be allies or otherwise? Tune in next time to find out. Thank you again so much.